What if the one thing you eat every single day is slowly rewiring your brain without you knowing? Not your heart, not your waistline, your brain. Here's what nobody tells you. Scientists at Harvard have now directly linked a common sugar habit, one most people don't even think twice about, to the same brain changes found in Alzheimer's disease. And here's what makes it terrifying. There are 0 symptoms until the damage is already done. 30 days. That's all it takes for your body to start reversing this. But only if you know what's actually happening inside you right now. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to see exactly what happens inside your body when you cut out sugar for 30 days. 5 changes, 5 organs, all of them backed by real science. We are going to talk about your liver and why it is far more at risk than you think. Your kidneys, your skin, your energy system, and then the one that will genuinely shock you, your brain. Because the last change we cover today, Harvard researchers have given it a name, and that name is the one nobody wants to hear. Stay with me, because this next part changes everything. Here is the number that should stop you cold. The average adult consumes around 17 teaspoons of added sugar every single day. The World Health Organization says the safe limit is 6. That means most of us are consuming nearly 3 times the amount our bodies were designed to handle. And here's what that excess is doing right now. Every teaspoon beyond the safe limit gets processed by your liver as if it were alcohol. Not a metaphor, a metabolic fact. A study published in the Journal of Hepatology found that excess fructose creates the same liver scarring patterns as chronic alcohol consumption. You are drinking without drinking. And your brain? It is being quietly starved of its ability to use insulin. And that is where this story gets very, very serious. Change number 1, your liver. Most people think of the liver as a detox organ. And yes, it cleans your blood. But here is what most doctors don't explain. Your liver is also the primary processing plant for sugar, specifically fructose. And when you overload it, it stores that sugar as fat, right inside the liver cells themselves. This is called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. According to the World Gastroenterology Organization, it now affects 1 in 4 adults globally. Most of them have no idea. But when you stop eating added sugar for even 2 weeks, liver fat begins to visibly reduce on clinical scans. 2 weeks, not 2 years. By day 30, the difference is measurable, documented, and real. Your liver was quietly drowning, and it is ready to breathe again. Change number 2, your kidneys. And this one surprises almost everyone. Your kidneys are filtration machines. They filter your blood roughly 60 times per day. But chronic high sugar keeps your blood sugar elevated, and elevated blood sugar makes your kidneys work harder than they were built to. Research published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that high fructose consumption directly increases the pressure inside kidney filtration units called glomeruli. Over time, that pressure causes micro-damage, damage that most people never feel until it's too late to easily reverse. But here's the extraordinary part. Cut the sugar, reduce that pressure, and within 30 days, kidney stress markers in blood tests begin to drop. Your kidneys are resilient. They were just waiting for you to stop punishing them. Change number 3, and this one, people notice in the mirror. Your skin. Here's what most people don't know. Sugar triggers a biological process called glycation. It is the process by which sugar molecules attach themselves to collagen and elastin, the structural proteins that keep your skin firm and elastic. Once sugar binds to these proteins, they become stiff, brittle, and damaged. The result? Accelerated aging. More lines. Less glow. Faster breakouts. A study in the British Journal of Dermatology confirmed that skin glycation visibly accelerates the appearance of aging, and that reducing sugar intake measurably slows it. By day 30 without added sugar, patients in clinical observations reported visibly clearer skin and reduced inflammatory acne. Not because of a cream, because the source of the damage was finally removed. Change number 4, your energy. And this one, most people feel it faster than anything else. When you eat sugar, your blood glucose spikes sharply. Then insulin rushes in and crashes it just as fast. This cycle repeats all day. Spike, crash, spike, crash. That crash is the 3 p.m. slump you've been blaming on everything except the real cause. Here's what happens when you break the cycle. Within the first week, your body begins switching to fat as its primary fuel source, a process called metabolic flexibility. According to research from Stanford University's Metabolism Lab, people who reduce sugar intake report measurably more stable energy within 7 to 10 days. The cravings, they peak between days 3 and 5, then they decline, not slowly, rapidly, because your dopamine receptors begin to recalibrate once they are no longer being flooded. This is the part most people miss completely. Your brain was addicted, not metaphorically, neurochemically. Change number 5. And this is the one that will change how you think about every sugary thing you have ever eaten. Your brain. Here's what nobody tells you about the brain and sugar. Your brain runs almost entirely on glucose. But it needs insulin to use that glucose properly. And when you flood your system with sugar over months and years, your brain cells begin to ignore insulin's signal. They become insulin resistant, just like your muscle and fat cells do in type 2 diabetes. But in your brain. This is not a theory. Researchers at Brown University published findings showing that the same insulin resistance mechanism that drives type 2 diabetes can occur independently inside brain tissue, isolated, silent, without raising your blood sugar at all. You can have perfectly normal blood glucose readings and still have a brain that is struggling to use energy properly. And when that brain insulin resistance goes unchecked, here is what happens next. A landmark study from Brown University Medical School used the term type 3 diabetes to describe Alzheimer's disease, because the brain's failure to process insulin properly follows the same biological pathway as diabetes, just in your neurons instead of your muscle cells. Some neurologists now believe that a significant portion of Alzheimer's cases may have a metabolic origin, not just genetic, not just age, but years of silent insulin resistance, slowly starving brain cells of the energy they need to survive. Here's what makes this different from everything else in this video. The liver can regenerate, the kidneys can recover, the skin can renew, the brain loses cells it cannot replace. This is the only change where prevention is everything. Because once enough neurons are gone, you cannot get them back. Stay with me, because this next part changes everything. Harvard Medical School researchers, and we are talking about the most credible institution on this planet, have formally proposed that Alzheimer's disease may be better classified as a metabolic disorder. Not just a memory disease, not just a brain disease, a metabolic disease. Their research showed that brain tissue from confirmed Alzheimer's patients showed significantly reduced insulin receptors and impaired insulin signaling, changes nearly identical to what we see in type 2 diabetes patients in their muscle tissue. The term type 3 diabetes was coined by Dr. Suzanne de la Monte at Brown University, a researcher who found this pattern across multiple independent studies. Write this down, because this is not fringe science. It is published, It is peer-reviewed. And it has been building for over a decade. Now here is the part that matters most. Because I don't want you leaving this video frightened, I want you leaving it equipped. Because the same research that found this connection also found something remarkable. When patients significantly reduced added sugar intake, brain insulin sensitivity began to improve. Inflammation markers in the brain, the same markers elevated in early-stage Alzheimer's, began to decrease. 30 days of low sugar. Measurable brain benefits. You have not necessarily crossed a point of no return, and you have far more control over this than any pharmaceutical company wants you to believe. The sugar industry has spent decades and billions making sure you never connected these dots. Well, now you have. This is where it gets important. The next section gives you exactly what to do. 3 specific, science-backed steps. Starting today, write this down. 3 steps, science-backed, starting today. Step 1. Read every label for added sugar, not total sugar. Added sugar. The American Heart Association's research team confirms that reducing added sugar alone, while keeping natural sugar from whole foods, produces the measurable metabolic benefits we've discussed. Target under 6 teaspoons of added sugar daily. Step 2. Swap your breakfast. A study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that a high-protein, low-sugar breakfast reduces blood glucose volatility for the entire day, not just the morning, the entire day. Eggs, plain yogurt, nuts. That's your new morning priority. Step 3. Give it 7 days before judging. The craving peak hits between days 3 and 5. If you quit before day 7, you never felt what the other side feels like. Most people who make it to day 10, they keep going. Because by then, your brain is already starting to remember what clear feels like. You just watched something most people never get told. 5 changes. 1 month. Your liver, kidneys, skin, energy, and brain all measurably better. And now you know why. Here is what I want you to do right now. If this video changed something for you, hit subscribe, because every week on FactSphere Science, we take the research that should be common knowledge and make sure it finally is. PhD verified. Always, no fluff, no filler, just science you can use. Now, we are curious. What's the hardest thing you've ever given up for your health? Drop it in the comments below. Seriously, tell us. Because that one detail will help us make a video just for you. And before you go, here is what is coming next week. What if I told you that one completely free daily habit has been shown to reduce your cancer risk, cut your risk of depression by over 40%, and add years to your life? No supplements, no equipment, no cost whatsoever. Stay subscribed, because next week, you will not want to miss this one.